Obviously, my best way to try to understand what I'm feeling is composing and making music, so it heals me. And at the same time, I share humbly, you know, how I see things and how I feel it.
Good afternoon and welcome to Washington Post Live. I'm Arelis Hernández, a reporter here at the Post. We apologize for some technical difficulties that we were having that delayed the broadcast, but we're back. And today in our Race in America series, we're joined by Grammy Award-winning singer and songwriter Ileana Cabra Joglar, or better known as iLe. Welcome to Washington Post Live, iLe. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros.
Muchas gracias. How are you? Thank you.
Well, let's get started. So you and I actually met once. I probably don't remember because we were both tired out of our minds. It was a week of protests in Puerto Rico en el verano del 19, right? These are the protest movement that led to the ouster of the governor of Puerto Rico. That was more than 4 years ago. Hurricane Maria was more than 5 years ago. Now you have a new album that highlights some of the power struggles in Puerto Rico that stem from these events that have been happening for quite some time. Talk to us about what the past few years have been like for you and how that's impacted your music.
Well, I think everything impacts me somehow in everything that I work on, because for me it's impossible to disconnect myself completely to everything that is going on. So I feel that it is a big part of me, of my work, actually, what happens around me. So it has definitely been a very tough years, but at the same time, I feel that I have to also find space to heal myself, you know, even though I sometimes feel stressed out about many things that happen, and not only in Puerto Rico, but around the world that can affect me. At the same time, I need to find a way to heal and be as sanely in my mind, and to keep going, you know. So music helps me a lot with that, and I always say that it's like my life tool to understand a little about how I process everything that happens around me.
Well, you have a new song on your album called Donde Nadie Más Respira, and it talks about corruption and abuse of power in Puerto Rico specifically. What do you want the audience to take away from that song?
I feel that I was very connected to colonialism mostly, and the dynamics, that maybe the emotional dynamics that go from that. I feel that we as Puerto Ricans tend to idealize a lot the oppressor, you know. Everyone that seems bigger than us, we feel that we need to give them some kind of respect, and sometimes it is too much, you know, that we feel that we are not enough, that we're not worthy, that everything else is so much powerful, then that means that we are not as powerful, that we'll never be that. And for me, it's crazy, and it shows the abuse of power that we have been receiving for so many years. And that's why I say, like, it's not surprising for oppressors, you know, to have that way of being, but it is painful for me mostly to see that we are willing to take that, you know, to keep receiving that mistreatment and to keep, like I said, idealizing the oppressor, and it's violent, and sometimes violence can seem so silent, and that for me is the crazy part, that obviously they're going to find new ways for us to not realize as much the damage that we are receiving, but it's up to us to keep digging for information, to keep working more as a community, as a country, and believing a lot more in ourselves and what we can do about it.
Well, you also have a song featuring Ivy Queen. I want to play a small part of it for the audience. Take a look here.
Quiero escuchar algo bonito. Algo bonito, papá. Dime algo bonito. Suavecito, ¿okay? Quiero escuchar algo bonito. Dime algo bonito. Quiero escuchar algo bonito.
Tell us more about the song. How did it come to be?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand the question.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about the. I just wanted to, if you could tell us a little bit more about this song and how it came to be.
Well, this song is always started as a combative song, and I feel super grateful to have Evie as a part of that song, because I feel that she was the ideal person to be a collaborator in this song, because I feel that she represents a lot in not only in the urban genre, but as a Puerto Rican woman, I feel that when she started, it was very powerful for me. And I wanted this song to have that energy, but also more towards the times that we are living today, and feel that we are tired of so many things and so many toxic patterns towards women, and I feel that sometimes it's okay to allow ourselves to feel rage and to just feel angry about it, and I feel this song speaks about that anger specifically, and that rage and that energy of just trying to fuck everything and just keep sending the message that we want to send, that it's more basic, and I feel that we as a society tend to make everything even more complicated than it should be, and for me it's about understanding each other and accepting our differences and just trying to live happy with that, and how is that such a difficult thing for us is something that we need to wonder and speak about it more. And I feel that the feminist movement tries to do that, and still we are being criticized a lot by everything, so it's very difficult to feel excited every day. Sometimes you feel frustrated, and this song comes from that frustration, but transforming it into rage and and courage.
I feel like these are themes that come up throughout the album, but can you tell us about the name of the album? And forgive me if I say it wrong. Nacarile, is that how you say it, or say the name for us and tell us more about it?
Yeah, Nacarile, you said it perfectly. It's an expression that we use here in Puerto Rico, although I don't know how much it's being used. For me, it's still being used, but now I'm in my 30s, so maybe I'm old. But it's an expression that we use, that the full phrase is Nacarile del Oriente, and sometimes we say it shorter with Nacarile, or sometimes Naki Naki. And it's just basically a way of saying with a lot of attitude, and determination, that no, like it can be something as simple as something that you couldn't find and someone asks you and you say, oh, Nacarile, or it can be something like, most of the time it's more with like an attitude, like, oh no, you didn't. So that's what I like about it. It felt like a motivational no for me, to transcend everything that I was going through while working this album.
What would you say is your favorite song on the album, and why?
I have some, I mean, obviously I love all of them. Every song is special for me. I do like Donde Nadie Más Respira a lot, because what it represents, but Escapándome de mí is another song that I liked, and that's why I felt that after the pandemic, trying to have like this second release of this album, I wanted to kind of start off with Escapándome de mí, because I feel that it speaks a lot about this other side of the album, but that is about taking risks, and it's about, taking that leap of faith, and just if you feel that it's right for you and it's going to be good for you, then go for it. Even though there might be things that might scare you a bit, but it's about trusting a little more in yourself. So that's why that one is definitely one of my favorites.
One of my favorite things that you do is the way that you contemporize boleros. So I adore boleros. Those are the first songs that I learned how to sing as a child, because they were also the favorite of my abuelo. And the problem has always been, though, that the lyrics, right, were written by men decades ago that reflect their times and are often problematic for a modern audience. Is that something that you think about when you think about, writing or composing a bolero?
Definitely. I mean, I love bolero as well, and it shook me a lot when I discovered, especially like female bolero singers, that had like a completely different message, But as I kept hearing them and enjoying the songs, obviously there's like something in me that feels like there's a limit, There's something that maybe they wanted to say but they couldn't, or it were some other times, or most of the songs were written by men also, that have a different perspective. So yeah, like I bolero for me is such a big part of my life, that I respect it a lot, but I do want to send a different message with the bolero, not staying in the same place where it was all the time, but speaking a little about what I would like it to hear in a female bolero, especially.
That's awesome. So you started your music career with your older brothers, who founded Calle 13, and your whole family is pretty outspoken about American imperialism, capitalism, and what it's done to Puerto Rico. How have they influenced you?
Well, we are a big family. We are 9 brothers and sisters with different marriages, and it's like it's complicated. But we do have always had like a great relationship, and that is something that I feel super grateful. And I realize that not many people have that connection with their family members, unfortunately, and it seems like it's more common to have a bad relationship with your family rather than a good one. So it's been weird for me to speak about my family, in a way that it's natural for me to just feel that I trust my family members a lot, and we trust each other a lot. So we do have a great communication, and I value that a lot. And we are a lot of brothers and sisters, and every one of us have different perspectives of things and are from different generations, but we do come from a mostly artistic family. So like that artistic base, I think, is what helps to understand each other more. And I feel that we grow together a lot. So I definitely, as the little one in the house that I grew up in, I absorbed a lot of information from my parents and my brothers and sisters. So I feel grateful about that, and I learn from them still.
When you look back at that time with Calle 13, what were some of your favorite memories?
I think everything was so unexpected with Calle 13 for us as a family. Like, we were just having a good time. We were enjoying everything. But at the same time, we weren't as aware about what was actually going on. Everything happened so fast and so intensely, and it was so fun. It was hard to process. I still process some things today that I feel like, oh yeah, we did that. Like, wow, that was crazy, because it was a long 10 years, and it was super exciting all the time. So I felt safe, because I was traveling with my family members, and I was a teenager at the time, so I felt like I was like traveling with my family, and that felt nice. But at the same time, life was happening and I was just graduating from high school and I didn't know what I was going to do next. I was just enjoying the moment, and it was weird, to think like I'm supposed to be in college, but I'm traveling the world and learning so many things at the same time. So I felt that it was a great weird school for me, but I feel grateful because maybe it let me know that I'm in the path that I feel that I should be in.
Well, Calle 13 was also known as winning the most Latin Grammys ever. What do these accolades mean to you? And at what point did you decide that you wanted to take, a different path and go the solo career?
Everything was crazy. I think we weren't expecting it at all. I still feel that we're not like expectors. I don't know the word. Like we're not expecting anything. But it was crazy. Like we never thought that the group was going to have that much of success, because we were just like as if we were in our home, having fun. So yeah, I think I've always felt that I was going to be in music all my life. Like I was super sure about that. I never thought that I was going to be singing. But then suddenly, like everything made sense at the end, like it felt right. So I feel that everything happens for a reason, like we weren't expecting any of this, but then suddenly we feel so thankful that it was like that at the end. And we still like keep growing and I keep learning from everything that keeps happening. So yeah, I think I just kind of went with the feeling, of everything. And it was scary at first, like, yeah, me doing like my solo career, like I felt a little nostalgic not having my brothers by my side and messing around. But at the same time, I learned something new about myself and I felt confident about it, and that energy with the audience felt different, and it keeps being exciting, being on stage and doing music. It's liberating. So I feel grateful about that.
So I'm not going to get away with this interview without mentioning Bad Bunny. Now, Bad Bunny has made history as the first Latin artist to be nominated for Album of the Year at this year's Grammys. He's also made Puerto Rico's struggles a recurring theme in his work. You've worked with him. What were those experiences like?
Well, I don't know. Like everybody asks me about Bad Bunny, and I just see him like a normal person. I feel that I applaud that he is, using his reach to talk about other things, that are also important about the reality that we are having here in Puerto Rico and the crisis and everything. I think it's important because definitely a lot of people listen to him and pay attention. So it's nice that that his project is not only in the surface of things, it has something deeper than that, and I admire that about him. But I just see him like a normal guy at the same time, and it's cool, like great. I'm happy for him as well as I'm happy for any friend.
Well, does he have any like works when he's, composing, or does he have any exercises or things that he has to go through, meditations to bring the work together?
I think we we realize that at the end we have like a lot of similarities with other artists. Like now in this album that I had the chance to work with other artists, like suddenly you feel that there is a connection in our way of working, but obviously we just feel more comfortable with different things, and some things might vary a little, but at the same time I think we just go towards what we feel most connected with, and it's nice, like to appreciate that from other perspectives, like to feel, oh, like you go that way and I go this way, but at the end we're feeling the same thing. It's just expressed differently, and it's something that I've learned a lot with my brothers as well and my sisters when we work together. Is we have different perspectives, but at the end we just want to send our message. It's just sent in different ways. So yeah.
Well, I'm curious, what role do you think artists should have in political movements? Your brothers have been no stranger to this space, and I'm curious from the perspective of a woman, and I'm thinking about Lucecita Benitez, right? Your fellow Boricua who faced censorship and exclusion because of her unabashed political, presentation as well as her voice. I mean, do you think that's a role that artists should have, or what role should they have in political movements?
Well, I think times are different today, and we have maybe more distractions than we had before. But I think that we have a lot more access than we didn't have. So for me, even if you're not comfortable, combining yourself as a citizen, of the world and your music, it's okay. Like, I can respect that you see those things differently. But for me, the important thing is to be informed. That's super necessary. And what I felt is that sometimes I feel that it is intimidating for us as artists to be to get into politics and to get into what is happening socially, because it's a lot of information and you feel that you're a public figure and you need to know everything. But no, like, you don't have to know everything. You just try to understand everything little by little and try to create your own puzzle, but with information, because it is like, you cannot do that in any way if you don't go and find information, and ask questions and, talk to somebody and, what is going on here? Why are people reacting this way? Like, what's happening? Like, it's okay to ask and find information, and you get to your own conclusions. And for me, like, it is important. Like, it depends on, like, it's okay how you want to manage them. Like, it's okay if you don't feel comfortable in other ways, but it is necessary to be informed, and you try to figure out how you want to express that.
So Hurricane Maria in 2017 really did shine a light on the relationship between the United States and Puerto Rico in unprecedented ways. What do you think has changed since then? And just for a note to our audience, there'll be some images playing from the destruction there. But iLe, what do you think has changed since Hurricane Maria?
I think we have always been used to hurricanes. It's something that we expect. We don't know how big the disaster is going to be. And obviously in Hurricane Maria, like, little by little, we were expecting like it was going to be big. But I think what you don't expect as much, it's how the government is going to react about it and how you're going to be supported. And I think that we felt completely unsafe, and we felt unsupported, and we felt lied to, and we still we are still feeling that, I think, at least myself. But I feel that it was fue una desilusión, to feel that, I mean, maybe for most people that trust more in the government, but to feel that we weren't supported as much, and that like, at the end, we as a community and as a country and as Puerto Ricans helped each other a lot more than the government did. And it shouldn't be that way. Like, I know a lot of communities had to go themselves, like, up to fix the lighting for the community, because no one in the government went to their community to fix it. And they were risking their lives for their community. And, it's a shame that we are accustomed to that. You know, we are accustomed to having governments that don't do enough and don't do what they should. So for me, the bigger disaster at the end, it's that part, you know, how suddenly when we are vulnerable, it's where the government takes advantage of that, and it becomes beneficial and it becomes an opportunity for the wealthy, and then suddenly it's a game for them, and it's terrifying, it's sad, it's painful, it's disgusting. But yeah, that's why I think that at the end, it's really up to us. Like, what are they going to do if actually we are every Puerto Rican is actually on the streets every day, risking their lives, risking their everything, just because they just aren't, like, we should be that angry. And I feel that we pardon too much, way too much than we should. But that's part of the treatment, you know, that's part of the abuse of power. That's at the end what is happening here. So I try to feel more hopeful, that I do trust in our strength and what we can do about it, but we need to be a lot more. And a lot of people have left the island, and it's crazy. Like, we're living sad times now, and I feel that they are way more critical than what Maria did at the end.
One of the things that stuck with me with El Verano del 19 was, you know, I've covered protest movements for my entire career, and this was the first time I had ever seen a result, right? In that, you know, what the people were asking for actually happened. Governor Ricardo Rosselló resigned and left office. Do you think that these events, as consequential as they felt in the moment, are like, have changed Puerto Rico, have changed the way that people relate to their government?
What? I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. Just like, you know, Puerto Rico got rid of their governor. They did it through protest. How did that change, or did it change anything in terms of the relationship between the people of Puerto Rico and their government?
Okay. Yeah, I thought I understood that, but I wanted to make sure. I feel that I mean, I cannot say that we haven't. I feel that we did learn something big, and I feel that we don't trust in our government. I feel that people that do trust in our government are a whole lot less than a few years ago. And that gives me hope. But at the same time, we are scared and intimidated to change, you know, into something new. But it's crazy because like I cannot take it any longer. Like, I live here, and I cannot take, like, next year are the elections, and I cannot stand like 4 more years with these people. It's crazy, and I feel that we need to, maybe, you know, what do we have to lose? Like let's just try to do something new, you know. Let's vote for someone different, or something different, you know. Let's just take that risk, because like at the end, like we're stuck in the same place, and we're going to keep being stuck if we don't do anything about it. And I know that everything that we've been so used to listening to is exactly that. Like, every time the government tries to scare us as much as possible, so we don't make that risk, and so we don't take that risk. So, but we cannot keep listening to that. Like, it's brainwash. It's like something is like, it's not right, and that's why we need to sometimes, you know, turn off the TV and stop reading the media, because they're just confusing us more and more. We need to actually talk with the community and have, you know, an assembly, and we need to talk to each other more, and, you know, try to find ways where we as a community understand each other, because like at the end it's all for us. Like, the country is us, it's not the government. And I feel that we really need to protect that. And I feel that right now we are totally unprotected. A lot of investors are coming to the island. And I know it's something happening worldwide, but Puerto Rico is so small that you feel everything so drastically changing, and everything is not affordable for us. Like they're literally displacing a lot of communities from their houses, and a lot of Puerto Ricans are the ones that are displacing them because they're working for the North American that is buying the building, you know, like they're just doing that, you know, making us also like the military, you know, the Latinos and the Puerto Ricans are the first row that get killed. Like we are, like it's the same, but in a new 2023 version, but it's as violent as that.
Well, iLe, unfortunately, we are out of time, so we'll have to leave it at that. But thank you so much for joining us, for talking about our music, for sharing your perspective. Really, really appreciate it. This was a treat for me personally and for our viewers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And thanks to all of you for joining us. To check out what interviews we have coming up, please head to WashingtonPost.live.com for more information about all our upcoming program. I'm Arelis Hernández. Thanks again for joining us.